What would you do if a family member, given a place to stay out of kindness, tried to dictate terms and disrespect your home? In today's story, the protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how to handle it. For the past month, my 24-year-old niece, whom I'll call Serafina, because her parents genuinely nickname her princess most of the time and she doesn't mind it, has been living with us. Serafina is a medical researcher, having studied medicine but finding herself more drawn to the theoretical than the practical side. She took up a position near our home, and my sister, her mother, convinced me to let her stay so she could save some money. I was apprehensive from the start, knowing full well that Serafina had been coddled and babied since she was a little girl. Our home is a 4-bedroom house. There's my husband, Arthur, and me, our 16-year-old son, Leo, our 21-year-old daughter, Chloe, and our beloved 4-year-old Rottweiler, Brutus. When I initially spoke with my sister, I made it clear that Serafina would have to sleep on the sofa in the living room, which my sister seemed fine with. However, the moment Serafina and her mother arrived, they immediately launched into a concerted effort to convince me to clear out Brutus's room and let Serafina sleep there. Serafina even had the audacity to suggest that Brutus could just sleep outside because, in her exact words, "It's just a dog." The mere thought sent a shiver down my spine. It's getting significantly colder now, and I would never, under any circumstances, allow Brutus to sleep outside. I looked Serafina dead in the eye and told her firmly that the living room sofa was where she would sleep, take it or leave it. She became, and still is, incredibly sulky about it, constantly grumbling about how we supposedly value a dog more than her. In all honesty, my initial apprehension was spot on. Having Serafina stay has proven to be far more trouble than it's worth. She's out clubbing and partying almost every night and makes absolutely no effort to keep the noise down when she stumbles in during the early hours of the morning. We have wooden floors, and she doesn't bother taking off her high heels, so we hear her stomping around, waking us all up. To make matters worse, since she arrived, the living room reeks of weed, a smell that was definitely not present before her arrival. I'm not against weed use itself. I even smoked it a few times as a teenager, as did Arthur. And I'm 99% sure Leo and Chloe have experimented with it at some point. My issue isn't even if she were smoking it outside. The problem is, it's completely illegal in this country, and the strong smell unmistakably indicates she's smoking it. In the house, beyond the inconsiderate habits, she's also been incredibly rude to my children. Chloe recently got engaged, and we were all absolutely delighted. But Serafina, in her boundless wisdom, felt it necessary to comment that if her boyfriend had given her a cheap ring like Chloe's, she wouldn't even get out of bed for the wedding. Chloe was in tears because of this cruel remark. Arthur and I immediately had a word with Serafina about her behavior. Predictably, she burst into tears herself and immediately phoned her mother, claiming we had been rude to her. "It's pretty weird to give a dog a room over a human guest," echoed a thought I later heard from someone named Shiva. A common sentiment that completely misses the point. The truth is, there isn't any furniture in Brutus's room that a 24-year-old woman could comfortably sleep on, and we weren't about to go and buy furniture since we didn't know how long she'd be staying. We had tried our best to make her feel welcome. We gave her as much space as she wanted, left the living room whenever she needed privacy, and provided her with food, while she brought more than enough clothes. I even went clothes shopping with her and was happy to pay out of my own pocket. Who gives a dog an entire room? A comment from Dave_the_slick popped up, encapsulating the sheer incredulity some people had. This reveals Serafina's greatest fatal flaw, her self-centeredness, which ultimately sealed her fate in our home. Within her very first week here, Serafina couldn't stop laughing when Chloe told her she worked as a hairdresser. She said Brutus should sleep outside, and then she shouted at Arthur because he hadn't cooked dinner quickly enough. You absolutely cannot blame all of this on me. I don't dislike her at all. I was simply apprehensive because, having known her since she was born, I've witnessed countless tantrums and seen her parents cave into them repeatedly, even into her adulthood. My worry was about how things would unfold once she realized we wouldn't give in to her demands. She even tried to pick on both my children when she was a teenager, and there was a period a few years back when Chloe refused to visit their home because Serafina constantly bullied her. Today, I had another phone call with my sister, and she was still relentlessly trying to convince me to put her daughter in Brutus's room. I made it unequivocally clear that this was not going to happen. and my sister became upset, accusing me of being nasty for valuing pets over family. I also informed her that her daughter was skating on thin ice and that I wouldn't tolerate her behavior for much longer. My sister was deeply offended and declared that we should be happy to have her daughter there. Frankly, how can I be happy to have a spoiled, overgrown child who continuously tries to steal a room from our dog in my own home? The core lesson here is that extending generosity should not be mistaken for an invitation to disrespect. When someone continually abuses your hospitality and crosses boundaries, it's not only acceptable but necessary to stand firm. What would you do if a family member continually pushed your boundaries in your own home?